Temu, the online marketplace that sells about 10 million different products, from electronics to clothes, medical supplies, toys, household goods, and novelties, all at impossibly low prices, because their site is deliberately made to be addictive, and because their products are made without any safety standards whatsoever, and by forced labour. It isn't cheap. Someone always pays.
Month after month, you'll think I'm singing about someone else, but you're passing me.
Temu is a Chinese e-commerce platform that launched in 2022. It isn't a store, it doesn't manufacture or supply anything it sells. It's an online marketplace where consumers buy directly from the 80,000 factories in China that sell on the platform. Sort of like an online flea market for sweatshops, or eBay for sweatshops, or Etsy for sweatshops. Let the simile be your own. When you buy from Temu, you're really buying through Temu, from any number of businesses and factories, with opaque standards and an ever-shifting catalogue of products and components. The company is owned by PDD Holdings, founded by Chinese businessman Colin Huang, who used to be an engineer at Google before creating Pinduoduo PDD, an e-commerce platform based in Shanghai, in 2015. When the company went public in 2018, Huang's 47% stake was valued at $14 billion, and he became the 13th richest person in China. A few years later, Huang started a new e-commerce platform for selling goods in the United States, Temu, which went live in September of 2022. Shortly after going live, Temu ran a series of Super Bowl ads with the tagline, "Shop like a billionaire," and the American love affair with Temu began. In just 2 years, 100 million Americans joined Temu as active users. The platform has since expanded to countries all over the world, but the US is its biggest market, comprising about 50% of all downloads of the app. The most frequent shoppers on Temu are people aged 59 and older, and much of Temu is clearly focused on that demographic. In 2023, the company had a revenue of about $18 billion, and set a goal of reaching $60 billion in 2024, heavily relying on influencers, especially on TikTok, to promote it. And the company works hard to keep its customers coming back and spreading the word to family and friends. Users get credits on the site for logging in every day, and credits for sending referral codes to others. It also engages in what's been called the gamification of shopping, an increasingly common practice that Temu does hard. Phony countdown timers on listings create a sense of urgency. Buy now, before this deal disappears. You're never going to get a deal on unicorn-flavoured bulk dog food like this ever again. Users are bombarded with exclusive coupon bundles upon visiting the site. Various games are presented. Spin the wheel and get an exclusive discount. Some experts have compared the strategy to casinos, where the thrill of winning discounts or free products can become intoxicating. Although I would argue casinos are generally a lot more upfront about the gambling element. Retail analyst Neil Saunders says, "The experience and cheap prices give consumers a little dopamine hit and keeps them coming back for more." And I think important to note, that dopamine hits when a person buys, not when they receive, but when they click. Obviously many different people use Temu, and many different people can become addicted to it. But with its core demographic being 59 and older, and with a swathe of anecdotal reporting about people's grannies becoming so addicted to buying solar lights and fridge magnets that they can't pay their mortgages, It seems to me that Temu is a bit like a roided up QVC, with far less quality control and far more convenient setup to impulsively buy. The point of the way that the site is constructed is to create the impression that you might miss out on a good deal if you don't make a purchase immediately, when in reality, everything is impossibly cheap on Temu all of the time for very specific, very disturbing reasons. Before we get to that, let's start with the least problematic aspects of Temu before working our ways into the bowels of hell. Like a very determined guinea pig. There are many problems that aren't unique to the platform, like complaints of low quality products that break easily, if they arrive unbroken at all, an intentionally difficult return process, and abysmal customer service, with complaints about customers waiting months to receive orders, not receiving them at all, or not receiving refunds that they were promised. But other issues are more notable. For example, a common complaint about Temu is that products received by customers don't match the images and descriptions in the listings. This is, in part, because as well as products being made by multiple, otherwise unconnected factories, Temu has a big problem with copyright infringement and counterfeiting. Their sellers have been caught copying photos from people's websites, Etsy shops, and Amazon listings, and using them as photos for unrelated products sold on Temu. Some people have even had their Etsy stores shut down because they've been accused of reselling items that they personally made, because Temu stole their photos from their shop. Use a watermark or logo? No problem. Temu sellers will just remove it from the image. Or maybe they won't, and the customer just won't care anyway. In other cases, people have found their products directly copied, brand name and all, in Temu listings. I'm talking here about counterfeits of small, mom-and-pop independent brands that don't have the means to take legal action against the company, or even the means to scour Temu to see if this is happening to them.
I sold about 800 of these stickers over the past year, and Temu, however long it was up, sold about 2,000.
Temu said they removed counterfeit copies of her work and added her designs to an image library that should prevent further sales of pirated products, but they won't compensate her.
This is part of why so many products look different from what's advertised, because they aren't the same products. They're images stolen from across the internet and used to sell low-quality knockoffs made in Chinese factories. Temu also has an issue, a prevailing issue, with dangerous products, from poorly made electronics that could explode to toys and clothing containing toxic substances. For example, Witch purchased 5 electric heaters from Temu and found that 3 of them were dangerously manufactured, presenting serious risks of electrocution, fire, or even explosion, and would be illegal to sell in the UK because the designs don't follow basic safety requirements. At least 18,000 of these heaters were sold on Temu. In addition, Witch found that these specific heaters were promoted by 5 influencers on TikTok, and videos that were viewed over 115,000 times. Australian consumer advocacy group Choice bought 15 battery-operated children's products at random on Temu and found that all of them failed safety tests. They included kids' camera projectors, watches, LED lights, and light-up tutus, and were found to have insecure battery compartments and loose screws, the sort of things children could easily swallow. In another instance, South Korean authorities tested a variety of products from Temu and found sandals and hats containing 11 times the legal limit of lead in direct contact with the skin. Why do sandals need any lead? What are these sandals for, astronauts? Well, lead, whether it be in your water pipes or your turmeric or indeed your sandals, is really cheap. A Channel 4 investigation found lead and cadmium in children's clothing, and silver jewellery containing 10 times the legal limit of lead, as well as handheld tools containing counterfeit safety certifications, and medical products that falsely claim to be FDA certified. Various investigations have found weapons like knives, concealed blades, and BB guns that don't require age verification for purchase. And there have been toy guns sold on Temu for children that look like real guns and violate safety standards. And then there's the baby products. The US Consumer Product Safety Commission put out a statement in September of 2024 calling for an investigation into Temu and Shein, citing concerns about the retailers selling products that are deadly for babies and toddlers. Various products for babies, like clothing, pacifiers, and toys, have been found to contain things like lead and endocrine disruptors. Why would the factories do this? Profit, of course. 1 pound of silver costs $272. 1 pound of lead costs 94 cents. So put some lead in those silver earrings, my boy. These are just a few examples. You may be wondering how it's possible for Temu to sell pacifiers laced with lead. It's primarily by using loopholes in international laws and regulations. Because these items are sold directly to consumers in small, low-value packages rather than being imported in bulk to distributors, certain rules don't apply. Imports are exempt from customs inspections and import duties in many countries if they fall below a certain value threshold. In the United States, under the de minimis rule, imports worth less than $800 are exempt. Because Temu aren't shipping stuff from China to Temu stores in the US, but directly to the consumer, they can largely escape these customs charges and inspections. And this, of course, encompasses the vast majority of purchases from Temu. And then there's the problem of data security. According to the Center for Strategic and International Studies, Temu, in effect, is an information-gathering spyware program masquerading as an e-commerce site. While many apps can access some of the data in your phone, Temu takes it to another level, gaining access to information above and beyond any legitimate business use. This isn't about analyzing your shopping habits. Market intelligence firm Grizzly Research calls Temu the most dangerous app in wide circulation, saying it has the full array of characteristics of the most aggressive forms of malware spyware. Temu's sister app, Pinduoduo, was actually removed from the Google Play Store in 2023 after malware was found hidden in the code. And then there are hidden functions in the app that allow it to access almost all the data in your phone. Text messages, emails, credit card information, logins and passwords, not just to Temu, but everything. Location services, photos, your camera, your microphone, you name it. It can even change the settings in your phone, including security settings, without permission. And if you delete the app, it can, and does, leave behind hidden code, the purpose of which is unclear. It can even send text messages from your phone to your contacts that look like they're coming from you, usually urging them to join Temu or buy specific products. And it doesn't show these messages in the conversation threads on your own phone. You'll have no idea that it's texting your friends and family, pretending to be you, unless they bring it up. And if you delete the app, too late. Temu has already harvested your contact list and will continue sending spam messages to your friends and family from random phone numbers. Block those numbers? No problem. They'll use different ones. Just think about that. Temu illicitly sends people messages in such a way that the sender can't even tell that it's happened by looking at their own phone. Imagine if they wanted to, what this organ of the CCP could do if it wanted to. But it isn't just using your data for marketing. Temu's parent company, PDD Holdings, does business with the state-owned People's Data Management, an appendage of the Chinese Communist Party, which PDD really is itself. People's Data Management specifically seeks to control media and data for the propaganda efforts of the CCP. Coupled with the amount of data that Temu can access, its ability to override settings in your phone, its ability to leave behind strands of code, and its ability to access your personal communications, this makes Temu an unprecedented tool for surveillance, the spread of malware, denial of service attacks, and other intelligence and influence operations of the Chinese Communist Party. And this is just the stuff that has been found. And finally, the pinnacle of evil, forced labour. I'm not talking about super low wages or deplorable conditions for factory workers, although they do that as well. I'm talking about actual slave labour.
They did whatever evil their mind could think of, and they didn't spare any part of my body.
Just like Xi'an, Temu factories source cotton from Xinjiang internment camps, where over 1 million members of the Uyghur ethnic group have been imprisoned as part of a genocidal campaign against their people. These are literal concentration camps. The people held there have not committed any crimes. They are held there because of their ethnicity and their perceived threat to the state. Detainees are forced to work in cotton fields, are subject to starvation, sleep deprivation, torture, rape, forced abortions, and forced sterilization. All of this has been proven. These are places where women are punished by having cattle prods inserted inside their bodies. These are places where people are reportedly executed by firing squad and their bodies harvested for organs. Also, butt plugs can be sold to the West for 87 cents, and so people can shop like a billionaire without thought, taste, or class. And that's the video. Thank you very much for joining me. There's more on the plight of the Uyghurs in my Xi'an video and elsewhere. Buying from Temu not only compromises the security on the device you use to buy from them, but also compromises your own health and safety. And the products are made by slaves. So, Merry Christmas to all, and to all, good night.